Hi, my name is Christina Majewicz, and I am presenting the picture book of Snow White.
Okay. Do you interpret the whole and then the parts, or the parts and then the whole?
Normally when I'm looking at a picture book, I will determine the parts and then the whole. Much like the picture of Snow White here, I would first of all focus my eyes on Snow White as a young child because I love Snow White so much, and then to what is going on around her, how she's taking care of a bird, and how the huntsman is about to attempt to kill her.
Okay. And is the process sequential? And if so, what determines the sequence?
I do think it's sequential. In order to understand Snow White, you have to understand what happens in the beginning. So, for example, in this picture, I know that the evil queen has turned herself into a witch to hurt Snow White.
And where do you look first?
When I look, I always look from left to right. However, one of the interesting things I learned from the reading this week is that if one of the characters is approaching them from the right instead of the left, it means conflict. And here we see the conflict between the Wicked Witch and Snow White.
Okay, and what do you see first?
In these pictures, I see first Snow White, then the person around her, and then the object that is being handled or looked at. For example, here in this particular photograph, I see the apple.
Okay. And how do you construct the meaning of the picture?
The meaning of the picture is supposed to exemplify the words that are in the picture. So here I see, if I was to not understand the words, I would see Snow White, I would see the evil queen, and I would know that the evil queen is not good, and that she's handing something to Snow White that could possibly hurt her, which is the apple.
All right. Now, what are the schemes of color and or of light and dark in your picture?
In these particular photographs of Snow White, the evil queen is always presented as dark. Even in her more beautiful form, her eyes are shaded, whereas Snow White is very bright, her skin is very fair, and her colors are all primary colors.
And how are things and people positioned?
In these particular photographs, Snow White is always surrounded by people who love her, whether it's the dwarfs or the animals. However, those that are coming after her are always facing against her.
Okay. And how about arrangement of people and objects by shape and size?
Shape and size, I noticed here that Snow White has very soft lines, whereas the evil queen does not. Her lines are not soft at all, they're very harsh, which to me displays her personality.